John Miller adjusted his navy blue Earth diplomatic uniform as the shuttle docked at Celestial Point, the massive space station where the Galactic Council held its meetings. Through the viewport, the station's shining silver rings rotated slowly against the backdrop of an orange-purple nebula. "Remember, we represent all of humanity today," John said to his small team. Lisa Green, his trusted aide, nodded while checking her data tablet. "First impressions matter. These aliens have been watching us for decades, but this is our first official meeting." Greg Daniels, the security officer, remained silent but alert, his eyes scanning everything as the airlock hissed open. The welcoming party consisted of 4 different alien species. Leading them was a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with silver eyes. "I am Ambassador Elorai of the Zenthuri," she said in perfect English. "Welcome to Celestial Point, representatives of Earth." John smiled and bowed slightly. "Thank you for the warm welcome, Ambassador. We are honored to be here." The other aliens did not share Elorai's warmth. A reptilian being with scales the color of rust merely flicked its tongue and turned away. The insect-like Diplomat clicked its mandibles in what seemed like disapproval. Elorai guided them through wide corridors where beings of all shapes and sizes walked, floated, or slithered past. Many stopped to stare at the humans with expressions ranging from curiosity to open disgust. "The reception ceremony will begin in 1 hour," Elorai explained. "The council has assigned you quarters in the diplomatic wing." Their rooms were small but comfortable. As soon as they were alone, Greg swept the area for listening devices. "Clean," he reported after finishing. "At least they respect privacy laws." John nodded. "Let's prepare for the reception. I have a feeling it won't be as friendly as Ambassador Elorai." He was right. The grand reception hall buzzed with hundreds of alien diplomats. Servers carried strange foods and glowing drinks. Music from unknown instruments filled the air. As the human delegation entered, conversations quieted momentarily before resuming in hushed tones. Lisa leaned close to John. "No one's approaching us. That's not normal diplomatic protocol." John kept his face neutral. "Let's mingle anyway." They walked toward a group of smaller aliens with purple skin. As they approached, the group dispersed quickly. "Not very subtle," Greg muttered. John spotted Elorai speaking with a group of reptilians and moved in that direction. As they got closer, they could hear the conversation. "Primitive apes have barely mastered basic space travel," one reptilian was saying. His translator badge converted his hissing speech to English. "Why are they even here?" Another reptilian, wearing ornate gold armor, laughed. "The council needs new resource worlds. These violence-prone savages were admitted too early, but their planet is rich." John cleared his throat loudly. The group turned, surprise evident on their alien faces. "Ambassador Miller," Elorai said quickly. "Let me introduce Council Elder Exalter of the Varaxian Empire." The gold-armored reptilian blinked his vertical pupils. "Ah, the human representative. Your species shows potential. Given a few centuries of guidance, you might become valuable members of the galactic community." John forced a smile. "We're quick learners." "Indeed," Salter said, his tone condescending. "Though some lessons are harder than others." Throughout the evening, similar encounters repeated. When diplomatic pleasantries fell away, the truth emerged. Most council members view humans as backward, violent, and unworthy of equal status. Later, back in their quarters, John sat with his team. "They're not even trying to hide their contempt," Lisa said. Greg looked grim. "And did you notice? No other new species here. We're the only primitives invited." John stared out the viewport at the stars. "Something isn't right. The official proceedings start tomorrow. Let's see what the council really wants from Earth." He didn't know it yet, but his suspicions were correct. The Galactic Council had plans for Earth, plans that had nothing to do with welcome or cooperation. The main council chamber was a massive dome with curved walls that glowed with soft blue light. Hundreds of seats rose in circles around a central speaking platform. The human delegation was assigned seats near the bottom, far from the elevated positions where the Varaxians and other powerful species sat. John straightened his uniform as he took his seat between Lisa and Greg. "Remember, stay calm no matter what happens," he whispered. A deep tone rang through the chamber, and all conversations stopped. Council Chairperson Zalter, the gold-armored Varaxian they had met at the reception, stepped onto the central platform. "We gather to welcome the newest applicant species to the galactic community," Zalter announced, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. "The humans of Earth have achieved sufficient technology to be noticed, if not truly advanced." Quiet laughter rippled through parts of the chamber. John kept his face neutral despite the insult. "As is customary, we present the standard integration package for Earth's consideration," Zalter continued. A holographic display appeared in front of John. Lisa leaned forward, her eyes widening as she scanned the document. "This can't be right," she whispered. John read through the terms quickly. The integration package demanded: Earth must provide 30% of its minerals, water, and biological resources as membership dues. Humans could not settle new planets without Council approval. Earth would receive only basic-level technology access. All human military ships would be controlled by Council officers. Council advisors would oversee Earth governments. John felt his stomach tighten. These weren't terms for membership. They were demands for Earth's surrender. "The Council has reviewed your civilization carefully," Zalter continued. "Your history of internal conflicts and rapid weapons development places you in the category of potentially dangerous species. These terms are for your own guidance and the safety of all." John stood up. "Chairperson Zalter, may I ask questions about these terms?" The Varaxian's vertical pupils narrowed. "Of course. The Council welcomes questions from new members." "These resource demands would cripple Earth's economy," John said calmly, "and the military restrictions would leave us defenseless." Zalter made a dismissive gesture with his clawed hand. "All species make sacrifices for the greater good. Your planet will be under Council protection. What about the advisor positions in our governments? That interferes with our sovereignty." Several Council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. A gray-skinned alien with 4 arms whispered something to Zalter. "These are standard procedures for primitive species," Zalter replied, not bothering to hide his condescension. "You should be grateful to even be considered for membership." The session continued for hours, with various Council members explaining the benefits of membership. None addressed the harsh terms. When John tried to ask more questions, he was told they would be addressed at the appropriate time. That evening, Lisa paced in their quarters. "This is insane. They want to turn Earth into a colony, not a member." Greg nodded grimly. "And did you notice? No discussion allowed. Just accept the terms or else." John was about to respond when a soft chime indicated someone at their door. Greg checked the security panel and looked surprised. "It's the Xanthari ambassador." "Alone?" John nodded. "Let her in." Ellerai entered quickly, looking around as if worried about being seen. "Ambassador Miller, I apologize for the intrusion, but I must speak with you privately." "What's wrong, Ambassador?" John asked. Ellerai's silver eyes showed concern. "The terms presented to Earth today. They are not standard. No other species faced such demands upon joining." Lisa stepped forward. "We suspected as much. But why?" "Several Council members have special interest in Earth's resources," Ellerai explained quietly, "and others fear your species' adaptability. They wish to contain you before you grow stronger." John felt cold anger rising, but kept his voice steady. "Thank you for your honesty, Ambassador. Is there anything else we should know?" Ellerai handed him a small data crystal, the complete Council legal archives. "Study them carefully. You may find options." After she left, John turned to his team. "We have work to do. If they want to play games, They'll learn humans are very good at changing the rules. The human quarters glowed with holographic displays as John, Lisa, and Greg worked through the night. The data crystal from Ambassador Elorike contained thousands of files on Galactic Council laws, treaties, and previous membership agreements. "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to a document. "The Brekka civilization joined 15 years ago. Their terms required only a 5% resource contribution and full military autonomy." John frowned. "And they're listed as a Type 2 species. What's our classification?" Greg pulled up another file and cursed. "They've marked us as Type 3 aggressive species. That's the highest threat level for new members." "Based on what evidence?" John asked, leaning forward. Lisa scrolled through the assessment report. "Our history of wars, nuclear weapons development, and," she paused, "our concerning rate of technological advancement. They're worried about how quickly we learn." The team worked tirelessly, taking turns resting. By morning, they had compiled crucial information that painted a disturbing picture. "First problem," John said, organizing their findings. "Earth meets only 2 of the 7 criteria for Type 3 classification. That's a direct violation of Council Law 447B. Greg nodded. "Second problem. I found records of unauthorized scout ships in our solar system. 3 different Council races have been secretly taking samples from Earth's oceans and mines for the past decade. And most damning," Lisa added, "is what happens to species who refuse Council membership." She displayed a chart showing 12 planets that had declined to join. Within 20 years, 10 had suffered catastrophic technological failures or environmental disasters. John stared at the evidence. "This isn't a diplomatic body. It's an extortion racket." A message alert flashed on their system. Patricia Wells, Earth's legal expert, had arrived overnight and requested to join their meeting. When Patricia entered, her sharp eyes quickly took in the scattered displays and tired faces. "I reviewed your findings during my shuttle ride. It's worse than you think, but there might be options." She pulled up several ancient Council regulations. "These laws haven't been used in centuries, but they're still valid. One allows challenged species to demand reassessment of their classification. Can we win that challenge?" John asked. "With the evidence we have." "Absolutely," Patricia replied. "But there's something else you need to see." She displayed images of several planets. These worlds joined the Council in the last century. Look at their development curves. The charts showed civilizations that had been advancing steadily, then plateaued or declined after Council membership. "They're being deliberately held back," John realized. Patricia nodded grimly. "The older Council races don't want competition. They use these integration agreements to ensure new species remain dependent." Greg slammed his fist on the table. "So what do we do? If we refuse membership, we might face mysterious accidents. If we accept, Earth becomes a resource farm." John stood up and walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars. "We fight back, but not the way they expect. The Council thinks humans are just violent primitives with no understanding of politics." He turned to face his team, a determined smile on his face. "Let's show them how dangerous human diplomacy can be." He outlined his plan. Instead of direct confrontation, they would gather more evidence and build alliances with other recent Council members. They would prepare a legal case using the Council's own laws against them. "Patricia, find every loophole in these regulations," John instructed. "Lisa, identify potential allies among the newer Council species. Greg, we need more intelligence on the Council members' private interests in Earth." As his team began their work with renewed energy, John added, "Remember, in chess, the most powerful move isn't always the most obvious one. The Council expects us to either submit or rage against them. They don't expect us to beat them at their own game." John straightened his tie before entering the exclusive gathering of senior Council diplomats. He had received an invitation through Ambassador Elorike, who suggested his presence would be educational. The luxurious room overlooked the spinning rings of Celestial Point Station, with stars glittering beyond the transparent walls. "Ambassador Miller, how unexpected," said Salter, his reptilian features showing surprise. "These gatherings are usually for established members." John smiled pleasantly. "Ambassador Ellery thought it would help me understand council traditions better. I'm honored to be included." Several diplomats exchanged glances. John pretended not to notice as he accepted a glass of blue liquid from a server. "Have you reviewed our generous integration package?" asked a tall, thin alien with gray skin and 4 arms. "We're studying it carefully," John replied. "Earth takes these matters seriously." Meanwhile, across the station, Lisa met quietly with a representative of the Brekka, a species that had joined the council 20 years ago. The Brekka Diplomat, a short being with iridescent skin, looked nervously around the small cafe. "We shouldn't be talking," the Brekka said. "The council monitors new members carefully." Lisa leaned forward. "Just tell me about your experience. Was your integration package similar to ours?" The Brekka's eyes widened when Lisa showed him Earth's terms. "This is far worse than what we received. They must see your species as a special threat." In another section, Greg was having a drink with a junior Varaxian diplomat, carefully steering the conversation toward Earth. "I've heard some council members are particularly interested in human biology," Greg said casually. The young Varaxian had consumed several drinks and was becoming loose-tongued. "It's not your biology, it's your adaptability. The elders find it concerning." "Concerning how?" Greg pressed. "Most species develop slowly, predictably. Humans jump forward in strange leaps. One of your centuries equals 3 of another species' development." The Varaxian leaned closer. "And you question everything. That's considered a destabilizing trait." As these conversations happened, Patricia worked in their quarters, finding legal precedents and building their case. When the team regrouped that evening, they shared their discoveries. "The Varaxians want our water," Greg reported. "Their home worlds are drying up, and they've depleted several colonies already." Lisa nodded. "And the Eldar are after biological compounds in our plants. They've been secretly sampling Earth's rainforests for years." John paced the room. "I learned something interesting too. There are factions within the council. The older members like the Varaxians and Eldar dominate, but some middle-tier species are unhappy with the current leadership." Patricia looked up from her work. "I found 3 legal challenges in the past century where species successfully fought their classifications. Each one used different approaches." John smiled. "Good. Tomorrow, we start the next phase. Instead of fighting the council directly, we'll build our own coalition." The next day, John arranged a series of what he called cultural exchanges with representatives from recently admitted species. The Turani, 6-limbed beings with melodic voices, shared stories of how council advisors had taken control of their main industrial centers. The Nuveri, a species of brilliant engineers, explained how they were forbidden from developing certain technologies for their own safety. Word of these meetings reached Salter quickly. He summoned John to his private office, a room decorated with trophies from many worlds. "You've been busy, Ambassador Miller," Salter said, his voice cool. "Some might interpret these meetings as attempting to create division within the council." John maintained an innocent expression. "Not at all, Chairperson. We're simply learning about galactic cultures. Earth values understanding its neighbors." Salter's vertical pupils narrowed. "Perhaps I could offer Earth slightly improved terms. A gesture of goodwill." "That's very generous," John replied, noting how quickly Salter had moved to negotiation. "Of course," Salter continued, "the galaxy can be unpredictable. Small, unprotected worlds sometimes face unfortunate incidents. The threat was barely hidden." John met Salter's gaze steadily. "Earth appreciates your concern for our safety. We look forward to a relationship built on mutual respect." As John left, he knew the game had changed. The council was now reacting to him instead of the other way around. The pieces were moving into position. The small meeting room was crowded with representatives from 6 different species. John stood at the center, speaking quietly but with passion. "Each of us has faced similar treatment," he said. "The Council presents itself as a united galactic family, but treats newer members as servants or children." A Tyranny diplomat, his 6 limbs folded carefully, nodded. "They promised us technology and protection. Instead, they took our richest mining moon and restricted our shipbuilding. The Nuveri have been forbidden from developing our most promising energy research," added another alien with gleaming copper skin. "They claim it's for safety, but they fear our innovation." John smiled. "That's why we need to work together. Not as rebels, but as members demanding fair treatment under the Council's own laws." The alliance grew stronger each day. John's team worked tirelessly, with Lisa coordinating communication between species and Patricia developing legal strategies based on each group's experiences. Ambassador Ellery became their most valuable ally. As a Xanthari, her empathic abilities allowed her to sense deception during council meetings. "The Varaxian delegates were lying about resource allocations today," she reported during one private meeting. "They claim Earth's water requests are excessive, but I sensed they already have plans for your oceans." Gray, who had been monitoring council security, brought troubling news. "They've placed watchers on all of us. Our meetings aren't secret anymore." John had expected this. "Then we changed tactics. Lisa, arrange a public cultural exchange. Art, music, food, invite all species." The cultural exchange took place in a large hall. Human music played while Lisa shared Earth foods with curious aliens. John moved through the crowd, speaking warmly with everyone. When council security officers arrived to observe, John personally invited them to try coffee and chocolate. "Just friendly cultural sharing," he told them with a smile. "Earth values understanding between peoples." Behind this public display, Patricia met secretly with legal representatives from their allied species. They combined their knowledge of council law, finding powerful precedents to support their case. "The Tyranny won a resource rights case 60 years ago," Patricia explained, "and the Brekka successfully challenged their military restrictions. Together, we have a strong legal foundation." The council grew increasingly concerned. Saltar called an emergency meeting of senior council members. Unknown to him, a small recording device, provided by the Nuveri, transmitted the conversation to John's team. "These humans are causing disruption," Saltar hissed. "They're giving other species dangerous ideas." An Eldar representative spoke slowly. "Perhaps we should delay Earth's membership until they are more compliant." "No," said a third voice. "Their system has resources we need now, and leaving them independent would be worse. They must be controlled." John listened with his team. "That's the final evidence we needed," he said. "Now we prepare for the confrontation." That evening, an urgent message arrived. The council had moved up the formal integration vote to the next day. They expected Earth to sign the agreement immediately. "They're trying to force our hand before we're ready," Lisa said, her face worried. John remained calm. "Actually, this is perfect. All our allies will be present for the vote." "Are we ready?" Greg asked. John nodded. "Patricia has prepared our legal challenge. Our allies are confirmed, and I've prepared something special for Chairperson Salter." Ambassador Ellery arrived at their quarters, her silver eyes troubled. "Be careful, John. The council rarely loses. Those who challenge them often face consequences." John took her warning seriously. "We understand the risk, but Earth will not surrender its future to fear." As the station's artificial night cycle began, John's team made final preparations. Tomorrow would decide not just Earth's fate, but potentially reshape the entire Galactic Council. The pieces were in place for what humans called the checkmate. The council chamber was filled to capacity. News of Earth's expected integration had spread throughout the station. Many were curious to see these humans officially take their place as a junior member of the galactic community. John entered with his full team. Lisa, Greg, and Patricia walked confidently beside him. Behind them came representatives from the Brekka, Terrani, Nuvari, and 3 other species who had joined their cause. The unexpected group caused whispers to ripple through the chamber. Chairperson Zalter's eyes narrowed at the sight. Ambassador Miller, this is a formal council session. Only Earth representatives were summoned. John smiled politely. According to Council Regulation 375C, any species may bring advisory delegates to their integration ceremony. These are our advisors. Zalter couldn't argue without violating his own rules. Very well. Let us proceed. His tone was cold. The Council has prepared the final integration agreement for Earth. We expect your signature today. A holographic document appeared before John. It was nearly identical to the original harsh terms, with only minor improvements. The chamber grew quiet as everyone waited for John to sign. Instead, he pressed a different button on the console. Before we proceed, Earth wishes to present important information to the full Council, John announced. Zalter leaned forward. This is irregular. The signing comes first, then new members may address the Council. Actually, John replied, Council Law 447b allows any species to present evidence of improper classification before formal proceedings. Patricia stepped forward, activating her own data display. Earth has been classified as a Type 3 aggressive species. This classification requires meeting 5 of 7 criteria. Earth only meets 2. Detailed charts appeared on the chamber's main display. Patricia methodically explained how Earth's classification violated the Council's own standards. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many Council members looked uncomfortable. John continued, displaying new evidence. Furthermore, we have documented proof of unauthorized resource extraction in our solar system. Images appeared showing alien ships collecting water from Earth's outer planets. Zalter slammed his clawed hand on his console. These claims are disruptive and inappropriate. Is seeking truth inappropriate? John asked calmly. He nodded to Lisa, who displayed comparison charts showing the dramatic differences between Earth's proposed terms and those given to other new members. The chamber grew louder as more species began to speak among themselves. Several senior council members were demanding explanations from Zalter. Enough, Zalter shouted. This session will end now. Actually, John said firmly, it cannot. Council Bylaw 12 states that accused parties have the right to a full hearing. The Earth delegation formally accuses the Council leadership of deliberate misclassification and attempted exploitation. The legal trap was perfect. By Council law, the session couldn't be dismissed until the accusation was addressed. Greg stepped forward, activating the final piece of evidence, recordings from the secret Council meeting, where Zalter and others had discussed controlling Earth for its resources. That is a private Council discussion. Zalter hissed. How did you obtain this? Ambassador Ellerai stood from her seat. As a Zenthari empath, I can confirm the authenticity of all evidence presented. There is no deception in the human claims. The chamber erupted in chaos. Many Council races had believed the leadership's claims about dangerous primitives needing guidance. Now they saw the truth. Earth had been targeted for its resources. Several powerful Council members moved to Zalter's position, speaking urgently. Others approached John's team with new interest. John watched calmly as the Council's careful facade cracked open. For centuries, the older species had manipulated new members. Now, in a single session, humans had exposed the corruption at the heart of the system. Zalter finally returned to his position, his scales darkened with anger. The Council will recess to discuss these allegations. The integration vote is postponed. John knew this was just a delaying tactic. The real confrontation was yet to come. After 3 hours of closed discussions, the Council members returned to the chamber. The room was tense with anticipation. Chairperson Zalter looked composed again, his scales gleaming under the lights as he took his position. "The Council has reviewed the evidence presented by Earth," Saltar announced, his voice steady. "While there may have been some procedural irregularities, the core of our integration package remains appropriate. Earth requires guidance for its own safety and the stability of the galaxy." John couldn't believe it. Despite overwhelming evidence, the Council was trying to continue as if nothing had happened. "We offer minor adjustments," Saltar continued. "Resource contributions reduced to 25%. Limited colony rights in your home system only. The other terms remain." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some council members looked uncomfortable, but none spoke against Saltar. John stood slowly, his face calm. Lisa and Greg flanked him as he moved to the center platform. The chamber grew quiet. For centuries, the Galactic Council has presented itself as the height of civilization. John began. "You claim to value peace, cooperation, and progress. Today, we've learned the truth." He gestured to the evidence still displayed on many screens. "This council is built on exploitation. You deliberately misclassify new species to justify taking their resources. You restrict their development to prevent competition. You threaten those who resist." Saltar interrupted. "Ambassador Miller, this is inappropriate." "What's inappropriate," John continued firmly, "is a system that pretends to be just while practicing predation. Earth came here seeking friendship and cooperation between equals. Instead, we found a trap designed to turn us into servants." John looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of many species. "This isn't just about Earth. How many worlds have you stripped of their resources? How many species have you kept from reaching their potential?" Some of the newer council members nodded in agreement. The older members shifted uncomfortably. "Humanity did not cross the stars to become servants," John declared. "We came as equals, offering friendship and cooperation. If this council cannot recognize that basic principle, then perhaps it is not humanity that lacks civilization, but this assembly." John turned to his team. "We're done here." With that, the entire human delegation began collecting their materials. The council chamber fell into shocked silence as they walked toward the exit. No species had ever rejected the council's terms. No one had ever simply walked out. At the doors, John turned to face the silent chamber one last time. "Earth will establish independent diplomatic relations with any species that values genuine cooperation. Our doors remain open to those who wish to build something better than this facade of galactic unity." Within hours of the humans' dramatic exit, the station buzzed with activity. 17 species, including some founding council members troubled by the revealed corruption, sent requests for private meetings with the human delegation. The Zenthari were the first to publicly announce a new diplomatic pact with Earth. Ambassador Ellerai personally delivered the signed agreement to John's quarters. "Your courage has changed everything," she said, her silver eyes bright with hope. Many have suspected the Council's true nature for years, but none dared speak out. As the human ship prepared to depart the next day, Lisa rushed into John's office with a message. "The Council wants to talk. They're offering new negotiations between equals." John smiled as he read the message. Saltar had been temporarily removed from leadership. A new negotiating committee had been formed, including representatives from the middle-tier species. "Tell them we're willing to discuss true cooperation," John said, "but not here. If they want to talk, they can come to Earth as our guests." Greg laughed. "They never saw this coming, did they? They thought we'd either submit or throw a tantrum. They'd never expected us to beat them at their own game." John looked out at the stars, thinking of home and the future. The real work is just beginning. Building a just interstellar community will take time. He smiled at his team. "But I think humanity just earned its place at the table."